Hello and welcome back. It's Christmas time and oh boy am I finishing off the Devil May Cry trilogy on a high note. After the messy development that was DMC2, the director that was put on the last minute decided to go back and take a look at the first game to see what people liked about it, fix the stuff that didn't work so well, whip the development team into shape and produce the most beloved entry in the series. That being Devil May Cry 3, or as I like to call it, DMC 3 and Virgil. So with that out of the way, let's get into the story.
Wanna know the name? Devil May Cry.
The game is a prequel to the first game, starring a slightly younger Dante at his most Dante-ist. Let's be honest, you can enjoy that scene whether or not you know the context. Dante's day is interrupted when a giant tower bursts out of the ground, and while it may look like the Tower of Babel, due to ancient Abrahamic copyright laws, it's not. The tower has been summoned by Dante's slightly more evil and more serious brother, Virgil. You know, that guy that was the Demon Knight from DMC1, alongside another bloke named Arkham, who have joined forces to open a portal to the demon realm and retrieve the power of Sparta. Dante heads up the tower to face Virgil and Arkham, only to bump into a lady that refuses to give her name. So Dante just refers to her as Lady, and so does everyone else, to the point that it pretty much becomes her official name. She is the daughter of Arkham and wants revenge on her father because he murdered her mother in an attempt to gain demonic powers. There's also a demon jester called Jester, who gives Dante a few hints on how to proceed through the tower. Dante arrives at the top of the tower and has a sword fight with Virgil, only for Virgil to stab him and steal his half of the pendant. Now with both halves of the pendant, Virgil heads to the bottom of the tower to try and open the Hell Gate. Oh, and betrays Arkham and stabs him too. Dante gets up, however, because he eats swords through the chest for breakfast. Dante heads back down the tower, and after a brief diversion where he gets eaten by a giant flying demonic whale, don't ask, he finally heads to the bottom of the tower to try and track down Virgil. Meanwhile, Lady bumps into her dad, who's still alive somehow, and Arkham tricks her into thinking that everything is Virgil's fault. Virgil gets annoyed because the pendants aren't working. Dante finds Virgil and has another fight with him. Then Lady shows up wanting to kill Virgil. Then Jester shows up, stabs Lady in the leg, opens the demon portal and reveals that he was Arkham the whole time. Gee, a guy called Arkham's alter ego is an evil clown. I wonder where they got that idea from. Dante then goes back up the tower again, has a brief fight with Lady, heads into the demon world, fights a bunch of bosses he fought earlier on, before finally confronting Arkham, who has stolen the sword, power and even appearance of Sparta, before then transforming into a giant blob. You know, that's the second time in a row where one of the main villains takes the form of a giant blob. Virgil then shows up and teams up with Dante, and they take down the giant Arkham Sparta blob, sending the now human again Arkham back to the tower, where Lady shows up to fill him with bullets. Dante and Virgil then have a climactic final battle over the Sword of Sparta, right in front of the closing hell portal. Dante defeats Virgil, and Virgil then plummets off a cliff into the depths of hell, along with Sparta's sword in an attempt to overthrow Mundus. And seeing as in the first game he ends up as a brainwashed puppet of Mundus, I'm guessing that plan didn't end very well for him. Dante heads back through the portal to Earth, finally names his demon hunting business Devil May Cry, And Lady does appear in the next game as well as DMC5 alongside Trish, but to be honest, in both games those two don't really do much. The game is a notable improvement from the previous two games. All the combos and versatile combat from the first game is back and better than ever. While the game's level layout is similar to the first one, it feels a lot less claustrophobic and more well designed. The game controls feel a lot smoother and more dynamic than the previous games. While DMC2's dodge button is gone, it's replaced with a multiple set of style abilities, including one that is essentially a dodge button but with extra abilities. The whole focus of collectibles and upgrades is back as well, and the hack and slash gameplay is more fun than ever. You can unlock new weapons either by completing side activities or defeating bosses. The game technically has a movable camera, but most of the time the camera is locked into a certain position anyway, and even when it's not, the movement is very limited. Apparently the Japanese were afraid of having a movable camera for a while because they thought it would give people motion sickness.
Wimps!
You can hold down the R1 button to lock onto your enemies to be more precise with your attacks as well as perform special attacks. Unfortunately, the camera doesn't move to your enemies when you're locked onto them, and for some reason, occasionally the lock-on icon won't appear at all, meaning that you're not sure if you're even locked onto an enemy or what enemy you're locked onto. Dante still has his Devil Trigger mode, and once again its appearance looks completely different than its previous two appearances. Can't you just...
You keep going, I haven't touched it.
Can't you just stick to one design, Capcom? DMC3 can be hard, which, with the reputation this game has, might as well be saying water is wet. More specifically, I felt that most of the difficulty came from some of the bosses. More specifically, those in the middle and right at the very end of the game. And I can finally say that I too am now an official member at the Gets His Ass Kicked Repeatedly by the final boss fight against Virgil Club. The graphics look really good for a game that was originally released on the PS2. It's certainly a notable improvement over the previous two games, although some of the backgrounds do look kind of awkward on a HD screen. And the music is arguably some of the best in the series so far. This game is simply awesome, but it's not quite the hack and slash messiah that some people have praised it as being. It's still really bloody good, and is worth spending your time playing if you're unafraid with a game that will be rough with you. As for the rest of the series, well, that's a story for another day. Well, that's all from me. Have a happy Christmas, and see you guys. How the fuck did you get in here?
Did you really think one insignificant spiff could stop me? I have retrieved the magic Fabergé egg. Soon eternal suffering shall be upon you all, an age of despair that will make 2020 look like a pleasant dream. Goodbye for now.
What the hell happened? I couldn't help it. He interrogated the information out of me. But I didn't even let you know where I was storing it. I didn't. I just told him where I found it the last time. Damn it! That was the last place I was expecting anyone to figure out where it was. Okay, I'll let you go, but on one condition. You help me stop his evil plan. Okay, I'll help. There's one thing I am wondering. What the hell happened to Jeremy? Where the fuck is everyone? That may look. I'm guessing that didn't do. It feels a lot less
This party's getting crazy. Let's rock.
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time.
Ha!